I've always had a passion for being around and learning about animals. When I was younger, going to zoos and animal parks was always a part of my life. I wanted to share my passion with family and friends, so I started working with people that loved animals as much as I did, and my YouTube channel was born.
Welcome back to my animal education series. Today I'm here with Shane from Second Chance Wildlife Center. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And I think we have here one of the arguably most adorable animals we've ever had on the channel, and it's a baby beaver. So how did you get this?
Well, there was some flooding up in this area here about a week ago, and there were some fishermen on the river, and what happened was the water washed the bank out of the river. These guys were inside and they were swimming around. They just happened to come upon them.
And that's kind of unfortunate, but a good thing you guys were here to take them in. So what is the process that you have to go through with this beaver that's different than most other animals?
Well, beaver are very communal, which means they need to be around their kind, or they have to be paid attention to a lot. That's why you don't see a lot of these in the zoos and stuff, because you have to take care of them all the time. They have to be swam 3 times a day. They also are not sexually mature until they're 2 years of age. So at that point, we have to keep this guy until he's about 2 years old before we can release him back in the wild. So it's one of the longest rehab issues that we have with these guys.
How old do you think he is currently, or he or she?
This one right here is only about, I would say, 2 weeks old.
So you have a long time with them.
Yes, yeah. And they're born totally furred. They're born with their eyes open, and they can swim right after they're born.
Wow. So a lot of people might know about beavers that kind of have a waterproof skin, like with the oils and everything. Does this beaver of like this age have that?
They do not have the oils that the parents will have until they're about, I would say, about 4 months. So what they have to do is they have to continually be dried off as soon as they've taken their bath or their swim for the day, and they're constantly preening them, which means they have to constantly air in the fur for them to be able to keep their buoyancy and also keep that from. They could freeze to death. They could actually drown if they get too wet.
So where can you find this species of beaver?
Species of beaver can be found all the way across America up to North America. They can be found in South America. Different species are in South America, but this guy was actually what drove our frontier to be created. What happened was the colonists, when they started here, the French and the English started to move west looking for the beaver. Beaver were almost brought into an extinction in the United States due to the fact of overtrapping for hats. That's where they first started to become a real problem. Nowadays we see them, they're coming back, they're almost found everywhere. You can find them in small towns, you can find them near cities. Matter of fact, this guy was found right outside of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, right on the river. And if you look at its feet are designed just perfectly for what they do. They swim. If you look real close, you can actually see the webbing between the feet. And also that tail, which is used for propelling themselves through the water and also to alert others that there is danger nearby. They'll slap their tail on the water, and that's how they communicate between each other. And the front feet are smaller, but they use those feet and that tail in order to build their own habitat. Their habitat is created by building lodges where they stay, and also the dams, which create habitat not only for them, but for all the other species, that waterfowl, things that migrate, and different elk and those types of things as well.
So how does the dam building benefit the environment around them?
Well, the dam benefit, what they do is by building that habitat, they can actually control some of the water flow that goes down the stream, which helps stabilize the banks of your streams. It creates habitat for different animals. Matter of fact, if you look at Yellowstone, we brought those top predators, the wolves, in, and we saw that there was some control of the elk and the different other animals that eat a lot of the vegetation. These guys came along, and it actually made that whole series or cycle back to where it was thousands of years ago in this country.
And I'll start with a little beaver like this at some point. And I just can't get over how cute he is and all those little noises.
Yeah, that little noise is a distress call. He just wants to be held. He's probably looking to take a swim now, and he wants to eat. So, but that's how they communicate with the mother, is that little noise.
So what do you feed this little beaver? Because obviously he needs nutrition to grow.
Well, right now she's pretty much almost all on milk. We have a milk replacer that we use, and she is starting to use or eat small twigs from willow, some of the softer stuff that she's able to digest, the very ends of the twigs that are just starting out there now.
And beavers also have really long front teeth.
Yes.
So what does that really mean? Or
Well,
help with?
those teeth are for actually collecting their food. They cut down trees along in order to build their structures for dams and their homes. But they also have to continue to chew all the time because they are our largest rodent in North America. Those teeth have to chew all the time in order to keep them filed down so they don't grow out of control. So just like your fingernails, they continue to grow throughout their whole life.
Then obviously they don't have like nail clippers, so they have to do that.
Yep. Their work creates a perfect grooming situation for these guys.
What has been one of your favorite things about taking care of this beaver?
They are very communal. They like to be around you. And as you can see, she's just falling asleep right now. She needs to be held. She needs to be totally opposite of what you do with other wildlife. Normally, our idea for wildlife rehab is to pretty much keep a no-touch attitude so they don't imprint on you. These guys do not imprint, and we have to keep them for 2 years until it's sexually mature, and then it can go out and find its place and find its mate and be able to survive on its own. If we were to release her this year, she would be pushed right out of any place where she would go because she's not part of the family unit.
Because, like, as you mentioned, that her family unit was kind of washed away during the flooding.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, like, they're kind of communal. They like to be together. So if there's no one to be with, it's kind of a problem.
There's usually 2 people they consider to be parents. I must be one of them because she falls asleep in my hands all the time. I also keep her around when I'm watching TV or sitting around. She just finally gets secure and then she falls asleep, and she needs that. Stress will kill these guys, and that's why you don't see them in parks and stuff like that or zoos. They need that. They stress out real easy. So there aren't a lot of them found, and there aren't a lot of them that survive through that first year, 2 years of life.
And you were mentioning that not a whole lot of rescues have a beaver. So when we were traveling down through Pennsylvania, you just had the luck of stumbling upon a beaver.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of cool. This guy is adorable. And then it's really hard to find.
Yes, and technically, wild animals are meant to be wild. They're meant to be out there with their family units. So to have them is somewhat of a sad thing, but we also have an opportunity to see how they live, see how they grow, and be able to put them back in where they belong.
Not a whole lot of people see baby beavers.
No, and as you can tell, they're so cute. It's hard not to fall in love with them right away.
Well, thank you so much for telling us about this beaver.
You're welcome. It's good to see you again.
Definitely was. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and also check out my Instagram, @ColeShirk. As always, I'll see you next week.